Welcome to Comics with Jose. My name is Jose. I love comics and I want to share them with you. Follow me on Twitter at Art of J. Velez or on Instagram at jvelez622. I share some doodles and drawings as well as a comic book that I'm working on free of charge. Like, follow, and subscribe if you enjoy this. We'll go over comic books that I have and enjoy. However, I do use the digital version for the purposes of this. We kind of review the artwork and the story of comic books that I think are pretty cool and I think people should read and get. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome back, everyone. This is Comics with Jose. My name is Jose, and today we're going to be going over Fantastic Four Volume 2, Number 1 from 1996. This is part of the Heroes Reborn event that culminated after the X-Men's Onslaught event, where the Fantastic Four and the Avengers supposedly died, but are really in an alternate alternate universe. This is what this was really about, was Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee returning to Marvel Comics to do 4 of their books. Will Sportatio did Iron Man, Rob Liefeld did Captain America, Jim Lee did Fantastic Four, and I really forgot who did the Avengers. So Jim Lee had returned to Marvel for this. He had a successful run in the Uncanny X-Men and then relaunched the Solo X-Men, then did Wildcats. So this has been a few years and Jim Lee returns, and I wanted to kind of share this issue with you. So let's start off by saying the spectacular cover. Jim Lee is an incredible artist. He is often imitated. He is perhaps, I would say, the most imitated artist that there is. And I think he gives birth to this new modern era in storytelling and in comic books. The hatching, the poses. Jim Lee does spectacular work. Just spectacular. He's very good at action poses. He's just a master storyteller. He has been doing, now he's at DC Comics. He's the president and publisher at DC Comics. And we start out with just what he's known for. If you remember from when he did the X-Men, he's so good at these outer space, fantasy, and the rock, just anything futuristic. He is very good at it. So we start out with the launch, something going wrong, people dying, and then you hear here, Major Grimm, do you copy? Hello, Ben. So this is Ben Grimm. So here in this reality, Ben Grimm is a soldier. So he had been sleeping, and that was all a dream. Here's Reed Richards, and they've run a simulation prior to the launch of this ship. Jim Lee is so good at technology. Jim Lee, like Todd McFarlane, was part of that movement of creating Image comic books. Jim Lee, however, sold his share of Image Comics to DC, and they owned the Wildstorm events. It's really just I think Jim Lee just didn't want to do it anymore. It's really just a payoff so that he could just go work for them. They really bought and paid so Jim Lee would come to DC. So, and he's still there. So After running the simulation, they're gonna now take a look at the data. Um, Brandon Choi does the script from Jim Lee's plot. Brandon Choi is a friend of Jim Lee and received a lot of work because of that friendship. So never say nepotism does not pay. If you know the right people, hey, you can get a job. Brandon Choi is proof of it. So once again, look, just when he composes these uh, things with technology, he's so good at them. So, and a call comes in, and you can see like a little flip phone here, and so Ben takes the call, and it's Susan Storm, and she says that she's going over there to finalize the launch codes for the flight, and she's gonna go with Las Vegas. She is like her and Johnny are like CEOs, or they run this company that they have. And anyway, she wants Reed to pick her up, and Johnny's gonna drive over there, but Reed is busy doing science work. So I love this line here where she goes, "Sigh, I guess that means I'll be taking a limo out to Vandermeer." And he says, "Don't even think about it, I'll pick you up." And so I just, oh, I gotta go get a limo. That to me, it's humorous. It probably wasn't intended that way, but I found it humorous. So I wanted to show you, like with Todd McFarlane, he does hatching, but it's not as predominant. If you remember from McFarlane, there's a hatching everywhere. Jim Lee is a little bit more conscientious on his hatching. But like McFarlane, he still puts hatching in a lot of places. Hatching. Um, but although Jim Lee does ink himself, he normally works with his partner, which is Scott Williams. And Scott Williams is the inker on this, but he's not afraid to spot blacks with in his pencil. He'll just show. So he will create blacks, but his product predominant way with figures is the little lines here. So once again, there's a knock at the door, and this is Special Agent Wyatt Wingfoot, who is a real character from the Marvel Universe, but he's also here in this reality. And they're going to be taking charge. They brought in their credentials, and the president had apparently told them to commandeer that that test flight that they were going to do, and they're taking over. And she asks if her father and brother knew anything about this, and he says not yet, but it really wouldn't have mattered. So here they're saying that there's been some kind of anomaly. Reed knows they've been tracking this anomaly and detect that something living there. So they are. He's excited because he thinks that they can make contact with alien life. Real quick here, we can see the hatching that Jim Lee also puts. It's not quite a McFarlane-ish hatching, but a lot of hatching also here for the cheekbones, just hatching. Just I really envy these artists who are just able to just throw lines wherever they feel like it, and it looks good. I mean, you look at this composition and you're like, wow. But if when I tried it, it just doesn't work. It just goes to show you that it takes not just skill, but I don't know. Maybe it's a confidence. I think they just have a confidence because this is what they do all the time. I just kind of sketch and all that kind of stuff. But when Jim Lee does it and I do it, it just does not look the same. But not very many people do. But like I said, Jim Lee is often I would say he's the most copied artists that exist out there. Um, Particularly his Batman is quite famous. Look at all the hatching right here on the nose, just slash, 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 slash. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of hatching. Like McFarlane, he does a lot of silhouettes also. So Ben is gonna go get Susan Storm from the airport when this Lamborghini comes here, and it's this beautiful woman, um, and she's asking for directions. But it turns out it was Johnny. And for those of you who read Fantastic Four, Johnny and Ben have a love-hate relationship, which is part of the Fantastic Four. So it looks like Johnny is turning around. You can see from here that he is turning around, and Ben goes, "What's he doing?" And then he goes, "Oh, he's gonna play chicken." So the Lamborghini is coming toward him, and Ben says that it's time to walk the walk, and he guns it, and they're about to hit each other. She doesn't like it, and demands that she stop the car, and then she makes him or hits him or something and makes him go out. Neither one was going to actually do it, so they would have collided had she not done that. Um, he looks, but he keeps going. He looks in the mirror, laughs, and Johnny's such a jerk in this. But I think I shouldn't say he's such a jerk. Johnny, I, this Johnny is a little bit more of a jerk than the other Johnny, the one that we're used to in the Fantastic Four. But he's always been a bit of an arrogant kid, so part of it is being the youngest member. So at the airport, she picks him up. Again, notice the silhouettes. Jim Lee's also does a lot of silhouettes. He puts in the background so you can see it, but then all the characters are in black. Much easier to draw when everyone is just in black. But he just he always has, here's, you can tell he's walking. She's got her arms out for a hug. So Jim Lee, even a hug here looks dynamic. Jim Lee's very good at composition. He's just a master storyteller as well. He asks who they are, and they tell him that who they introduce themselves. So now this is being surrounded by the army, and Reed doesn't like that they're taking his project away, and that they have the right authority. They're demanding who did this, and he introduces himself. Here's Sue and Ben with his soldiers behind. They say that they're just here to take over, even if they don't like it, and so here we go. Um, Ben and Sue use their tell them put their imprints in there that they can go. He's gonna call a lawyer. He knocks him out, and says they're gonna go launch immediately. And he's gonna call the police. The agent Wingfoot kills him, but he's been ordered not to kill her. And they open up a link, and here you can tell that who was actually behind all this was Doctor Doom. It was not the U.S. government. So, um, I love this. Just this kind of looking from above. Very cool uh, way of him demonstrating, and just his composition. Just a lot of hatching. Like I said, he is a hatcher. Jim Lee is a hatcher for sure. Hatching everywhere. So these two are wondering, contemplating how they're going to get out or what they're going to do. They're just watching everything happening. Oh, real quick, here's a silhouette. Only the outside is black. This would have been white, but it was colored. This is the beginning of computer coloring during the 90s, early to mid 90s. Programs like Photoshop and I think Corel had a painting one. Anyway, all these companies just started um, growing. So Photoshop and Corel and all these other companies just started producing a lot of digitally. So for magazines, comic books, all that stuff. So they're being escorted to with the other prisoners. I like that she's got her hands in the pocket because it's the 90s and um, all the hatching. So he's gonna cause a distraction. Takes out his little key fob. Car lights turn on. It starts to honk. He hits the guard. She he trips over something, or I don't know what that is, but oh, that little drum right here. She knocks him down, kicks him, and off they go to free the other two. Her and Reed, of course, are going out. They're in a relationship. They're gonna take the ship before the bad guys can get it. So it was just gonna be Ben and Reed, but the other two said, nope, we're gonna go together. So off we go. Very cool. Jim Lee is he puts doohickeys kind of like Rob Liefeld. I mean, have you ever seen astronauts with so much stuff out there? I mean, goodness gracious, pockets upon pockets and stuff to conceals. But it looks cool. That's the thing. It looks cool. So here they go. They get in the rocket, getting ready to go, and then they launch. Very cool ship. Jim Lee knows how to do this for sure. Very cool. They're wondering who took it, and then they see that it's the future Fantastic Four. Of course, they're not calling them that. The boosters separated. There they go. And so here's that missed anomaly that they were looking for. Trying to see what it is. Here's something inside. I haven't seen this in years. I believe this is a Silver Surfer, but don't quote me on that. I haven't read this in a long time. I just looked at it for the first time in years today. I probably haven't looked at this since it first came out. I actually do own this issue because I'm a big Jim Lee mark. So I have everything Jim Lee has ever done. I own everything Todd McFarlane has ever drawn. I own, and I say drawn. If he doesn't draw Spawn, I don't buy it. So if he's inked it or if he does a cover, I have it. If he does not, I don't have it. So I'm a huge mark for these two in particular, and Walter Simonson. These are my three. So this ship is gonna fire some nukes. It looks like that is being done from Earth, and they're not so they didn't do it, but the nukes hit whatever was in there, flooding them with these cosmic rays. And the ship is going to be crashing back to Earth. The pods with them deploy. It looks like they're in the Caribbean, according to what they say, and they crash in this remote island. So Johnny Storm becomes the Human Torch. Very cool pose. Love. I mean, he draws him very old school. Johnny's appearance, how he's drawn, changes after this. When the Fantastic Four are rebooted for the third time, Johnny Storm is going to be more as you see him in the movies. But this is the last time, so this is more of the way Jack Kirby, John Byrne, and everybody else after drew him. So it is that way. So he goes into the water because he can't find a way to turn himself off. Finds this rubbery thing. He starts to pull it. Turns out, of course, that it's Mr. Fantastic, as he will be called. So Reed Richards. And Johnny shows him he also has powers, and Reed has powers. And so here's Ben. You can see he's starting to turn into the Thing. Showing him with this transformation here. She hears Ben. She's going to try to take a look. And walks in. And he's like, what happened to you? Now, here is the full image. I'm going to make this a little bit so you can see just how. So this is a double page splash. So he drew this image just a complete. So it was a splash page on one half. And then, so here's probably the one half just full. I mean, he's just really letting you know the Thing is big. And so, look at this. Amazing, amazing. So, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here. So there's something behind them, and he goes to look, but we don't see what happened. Reed and Johnny go over there. They're surrounded by. If you're a longtime reader, you know who these are. From the Mole Men. And they grab Johnny and Reed. Reed assumes that he's going to take them to their leader, which they are. They find the Thing and the Invisible Woman. They're chained. This monster is running toward them. The Thing breaks away, punches him, says it's clobbering time, which is his catchphrase. And the Invisible Woman is free. They're Fantastic Four trying to get away, and here you can see the Mole Man. So he introduces himself, and we're going to. Oh, look how Jim Lee draws him. This is how, if you lived subterranean, you're probably not very clean. You're probably have like that. He hasn't been to the dentist, so here is the end of the issue. So this is basically a 12-issue reboot. Then it is the Fantastic Four are brought back to the main Marvel universe and relaunched. But that's a story for another day. So hope you enjoyed it. Fantastic Four, Volume 2, Number 1 from 1996. Drawn by Jim Lee, inked by Scott Williams, with scripting assistance with Jim Lee's friend Brandon Choi. Like, follow, subscribe.